people, Deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on. What a glorious Monday. People, Deluded, I'm back again. I'm blessing you lot with my beautiful look. Shirley's all right as well. How you doing? Can she hear us?
I can't even hear you. Oh, wait. Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can hear you now. I said thank you for being here. And obviously, I'm a good-looking guy. You're all right as well. So it's lovely to have you here on a Monday. How you doing?
I'm good. Happy to be back. Good to be here. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've been waiting to do the show with you because I want to start before I get into Chelsea. Did you watch the game against PSV, the second leg at the Emirates?
Yeah, I did actually.
Did you notice someone getting 2 assists, having a great performance?
I noticed someone having a decent game for once. Yeah.
I mean, that's a bit harsh, you know. If you're what do they say? Your disrespect, your apologies has to be as loud as your disrespect. If you're gonna draw him out, you need to say sorry. He had a great game. He got 2 assists.
Okay. Yeah, he got 2 assists.
Say sorry to Sterling, man.
I'm not gonna apologize for Sterling having one good performance in God knows how long. Like,
why are you throwing shade? Why can't you just say he's had a good performance?
I said he had a good performance. Great, good for him. Let's move on. Hope he can do it again.
He needs to be given a chance. He might have played against Chelsea. Now, don't belittle his performance. He got 2 assists. He showed great courage. He's got confidence.
Yeah,
he was
a lot more effective in that game. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I think the confidence was there. Part of me is, if I'm trying to be like really harsh, I'm gonna ask myself, like, is it because we were 7-1 up and he's playing in that game and he thinks
you can only play what's in front of you? It's a big European night. It's one of the biggest nights of the season. Knockout stage of Champions League. You're being a bit harsh.
Yeah, one of the biggest nights of the season, but we were 7-1 up. Like, there was no pressure on the game, and that's why I'm not going to say that's why he played well. I'm going to give him the credit. He played well. You've thrown shade. You've not said Raheem Sterling had a good game. I gave him the credit. He played well. Good for him. I'm happy for him.
You're not happy because you're not giving him praise.
I want it to continue, but at the end of the day, I want him to leave the club in summer. So I want it to continue until summer.
Why do you want him to leave the club? What if this is what kickstarts his career? He's a 4-time Premier League winner. He's extremely experienced.
His career? You just said kickstarts his career, and he's a 4-time.
His career at Arsenal.
Nah, I don't want to kickstart his career at Arsenal.
Why? Who's better than him in that Arsenal? In the Arsenal attackers, no one's better than him, apart from Saka.
Doesn't matter who's better than him because they're all playing better than him. So it really doesn't matter. Like, I haven't seen this best that he was talking about. I still ain't seen it. And the other day wasn't the best either. Like, the other day wasn't the best. It was a good performance, but I don't think it's anything to get, carried away about. No,
we can't get carried away, man. Good players have, if Saka gets 2 assists, I'm not necessarily shocked, and I'm not shocked with Raheem Sterling. Form is temporary, class is permanent. We talk about we need players that are ready right now. We're in win now mode. Surely Raheem Sterling's played his way into a start against Fulham after the international break.
Where are you playing him?
I mean, there's no Bukayo Saka. There's rumors Saka could be back after the break. He'll be playing on the right. Surely he can play through the middle.
Yeah, but Martinelli's back though.
Martinelli's not fully fit. I mean, to have a proven serial winner part of the Premier League 100 club like Raheem Sterling, a fit Saka and a fit Martinelli, I think you've said it there. That's the front three, surely. Why do you hate Jamaicans?
I don't. Wait, what? I do not hate Jamaicans.
You're not saying Sterling had a good game. You hate Jamaicans. What's going on?
I said he had a good game. What I'm saying, all right, start him. Let's start him.
Take a touch, my guy. But go on. Take a touch. But go on. Yeah, I'm on starting him. And from one person that you incorrectly judged prematurely to another, not Martin Odegaard, someone that could play Martin Odegaard's role. What did you make of Zinchenko in the 10? Surely there's a conversation between dropping Odegaard for him.
No, okay, yeah. Dropping Odegaard for him. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I do think that he looks very promising in that position, and it's good depth, Yeah, depth. That's just what I look at it as. I'm not looking at it as like, oh, he needs to come in and start in place of Odegaard. I'm just looking at it as depth, which is good for us. So
you're not rating. There's no way you want to see Raheem Sterling, Zinchenko here next season.
I mean, Zinchenko, to be honest, I wouldn't mind if they both left. Yeah, I'll just be honest. I wouldn't mind if they both left.
They're serial winners.
Yeah. So, but what have they done for me though? They haven't.
Zinchenko changed our worlds. Mikel Arteta's words.
Nah, he did. That's yeah. So I don't
Finally
know
playing in midfield as well. His organic role. Could it be a new life?
I wouldn't mind. Let me just put it this way: I wouldn't mind if they both go, and I wouldn't mind if they both stay.
Now you've got to stand on something. You're not standing on that. Pick a side.
I told you what I stand on. I stand on Sterling leaving this club. It's not good enough for you. So I'm saying I don't mind if he leaves, and if he stays, I won't be happy. But if he stays, he stays, isn't it? But it certainly can't be longer than a 1-year deal. So
Sterling's got one of the best goals in assist ratios to minutes out of all these attackers.
What, at Arsenal?
Yeah, he's played less minutes, and he's in them minutes adjusted, he's got a better goal and assist ratio than a lot of players.
I don't know, man. Stats are stats, but he just rarely passes my eye test. So I'm not sure. But stats can stat sometimes,
But when Saka gets stats, it's all right.
No, because Saka passes the eye test every time.
Does he? Is he the most enjoyable player and entertaining footballer in the world?
No, he's not the most enjoyable, but he's efficient. When I'm watching him, I'm seeing that he's getting his job done. Do you know what I mean? Which is more than I can say for others.
I mean, I'm done trolling now. I just wanted to hear some apologies about Raheem Sterling, but you know what? People want to be wrong and strong.
Next time.
Yeah, but don't worry, because when Sterling bags in a circle, it's just a joke. Don't cry. Man said, "Oh man, I hate this side of DG. I am out. See you later." I mean, you can't please everybody. Where do I start? Because there's a lot of things to.
What side is he talking about?
Apparently, me rating Sterling. I mean, some people are anti-Jamaican. I'm just doing the thing. I don't know why they hate Jamaicans. I don't know why they hate Sterling. But moving on away from that, there's a lot to unpack. I want to speak about Timber, about Saliba, and about a lot of things, but it's important to have some level of structure, I guess. Did you watch the Chelsea game?
Not entirely, but I saw enough.
So give us your thoughts. Stop being shy. Give us your thoughts.
Do you know what? I
don't hold back.
I don't want this to sound like far-fetched, but I was happy with the performance against Chelsea. I was happy with it. I would say that Chelsea didn't have anything. Like I really don't think that they threatened us at all. I don't think that we were as clinical. That's my only kind of we kind of have this critique about Arsenal a lot, especially this season. We weren't as clinical, and from what I saw, they didn't really threaten us, but we could have dropped points. Yeah, we could have dropped points in that game, but we didn't. The attack to me looked a bit more lively, even though we weren't as clinical. It just looked like the attack was doing bit more than what we've seen in previous games, because we had Martinelli, and I think he kind of just bolstered it up a little bit more, which was good.
Another player you was dissing, but we'll go on. We'll digest and nitpick in a second.
Okay.
You got a lot of sins to account for, man.
He looked all right, and I wish he got a goal. Like, I really was gutted that he didn't, but he looks quite lively. So I was happy with it. I feel like Chelsea, even though it was 1-0, we weren't as clinical. We should have probably scored about 4. Declan Rice had a couple. He could have scored. Who else was it?
Your boy Trossard.
Yeah, Trossard missed a couple as well, So we could have had a few goals, but I think we were it was a controlled performance, and we didn't give Chelsea anything, which is what I like. So I can't really complain. 3 points. Let's move on.
What do you make of the refereeing decisions? Because it took 58 minutes for Wesley Fofana to be given a yellow. Arguably, he should have been sent off, and I'm sure you've seen the Cucurella handball. Personally, I don't want to do the victim thing. Go on.
The Cucurella one was that what it was meant to be given, right? But I don't know. What do you want me to say? Complain about the referees?
I'm just asking your thoughts. Why are you attacking me? I'm just asking you your thoughts.
No, listen, do you know what? I don't have any thoughts on the referee thing.
It's the same ref that sent off Rice against Brighton.
I'm not surprised. I don't want to sit here and say there's an agenda against Arsenal, because as good as it sounds, I don't actually believe that. But I do think that we just have a serious case of incompetency, just throughout the board of referees in this country. And it's just apparent. It's been apparent for a few years. I think VAR really made it even more apparent at how incompetent the referees are, because you've got technology and then you've got people, and before that technology was there, we were just kind of going on the decisions of these people and trusting them. But then when you have technology which is very kind of factual, yeah, I just think that it kind of exposes where some people are, where their downfalls are. But yeah, I'm kind of tired of complaining about referees. My time to complain about referees was at the beginning of the season, where we had a red card for someone kicking the ball out. I think it was Rice or something like that. And we dropped points. Around that time I was complaining, but now let's just see out the season. Like, whether the referees are bad or good, it doesn't really change.
So in your heart, you don't feel there's a referee agenda against this football club?
Certain referees maybe, but I don't think that there's like a conglomerate, of referees that are scheming on Arsenal. No, I don't think that. I just think certain referees have vested interests, and yeah, they do what they do. We don't have good referees like across the board in England, so that's just what it is. We get a few of the stinky ones that they show up, and that's inevitable unless we kind of have an overhaul at a much higher level,
I think you're bang on the money, to be fair. I do think there's an agenda. I do think us fans, we're like the boys and girls who cried wolf kind of thing. But I do think there's an evident agenda against this football club. I do think we're ref differently. And even so yesterday, Chris Calvin, the guy that sent off Declan Rice, I've got no complaints. If kicking the ball is a yellow card or second yellow or whatever have you, fair enough. But I should be seeing that every week. And for his refereeing performance against Brighton to yesterday, I'm actually more annoyed that it took 58 minutes for Fofana to be given a yellow and probably not sent off. But you are right. There's a natural incompetencies. And when you look at it, Sky Sports and PG, MOL, they're kind of in cahoots together. So they're never really going to be critical on a referee's performance. I kind of want to break down the game a tiny bit. Yeah. What did you make of Saliba's performance? Let's start with the defense. In fact, what did you make of the defense collectively?
I think the defense were really good. I think that they kept, they kept everything out. They were solid.
Stop smiling at the comments. Just carry on.
It's quite hard, Listen, I'm not used to this. So when I see something pop up, I'm like, anyway.
They're breading, man. They're overrating you. They're gassing it. She's all right. She's no DG, but she's all right. Go on. We were hearing your thoughts about the defense.
Anyway, no, I think the defense was solid. I didn't really see too many blunders apart from one quite bad one. But again, like with the defense, it's quite a consistent thing where, they're solid every week. Like without our defense, I don't think we win that game. So those are my comments. And I'm hearing Saliba is actually, we're looking to get another deal done for him now, aren't we? Which is quite timely.
I mean, if you were Saliba, would you sign a new deal right now?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
If I was Saliba, I wouldn't, because I'll be greedy, and I would want better. Like I would want to go and win.
Oh, you're a religious lady. I thought greed was against all the religions. So to hear you be greedy is a bit shocking. But go on.
Listen, if I was Saliba, I would see it as okay, if for example Real Madrid is coming in for me, I would just take that opportunity because it doesn't knock for everybody. But if he was to stay at Arsenal, I would be happy, and I would rate him, because it's like, okay, you obviously have like a long-term mindset at this club, which is good. Like, but at the end of the day, if he was to go the opposite direction, I don't think anyone could really blame him. How many years has he been here? It's like 4 years now.
He's been here a lot longer, but in terms of being part of the first team, I'd say 3 years. In terms of properly being a first team player, not going out on loan, probably been there about 5 years, because he's been on he went on loan to Marseille, went on loan to Nice.
3 seasons he was signed, and in 3 seasons he went on loan for.
Yeah, so it's only been these last 3 years, including now, that he's really been a first teamer. I think you don't feel he owes Arsenal anything, like he owes it to himself to win a Premier League or any of that kind of stuff, create memories, and then go to the Real Madrids.
That sounds good. Like, I think, if I'm coming from a fan perspective, and I'm talking from a place of passion, I'd say, yeah, like I would repeat that sentence and believe it wholeheartedly. But really and truly, if we're going to say that about Saliba, then why hasn't anybody else owed us anything? Like, how many good players have left the club? Like, and it's gotten to that time where they're like, okay, cool, I need to make this move for myself. We can't hold that against them. Why are we going to start holding it against players now? Like, this is football. That's how it works. And it's going to be like that in the future as well, unless we do what we were discussing when I was last here about the signings and actually make shrewd signings that get us where we need to be.
Who are these shrewd signings?
I don't know the names because, you know, I'm not, what's this guy, Berta? I'm not Berta and Arteta, but I know that we need 2 wingers. We need both right and left wing. We need a striker. We need someone to come in for Partey at the minimum. Like, I don't know.
Keep Partey for another year?
Yeah, let's keep him for another year, but I think we need to be bringing in that player from now. I don't think we need to be waiting for Partey to go another season where we know he's injury prone. He's getting older. Yeah, he's still playing quite well. He's had some really, really good games this season, but Partey, for me, he is a bit too inconsistent, which is a shame because...
Oh, you're being harsh. This season, he's been faultless, more or less.
This season, he's been good, but I'm talking like since Partey came, overall, like, he's just been too inconsistent, which is a shame because before he came to Arsenal, he was like not a very injury prone player. So
facts.
I don't know what happened, like, you know, when he came to Arsenal. And this is what my point was as well about the whole training stuff that Arteta's got going on. I don't know, but players come to Arsenal, they don't really have that many injuries, and, you know, it just goes left. So with Partey, I don't know. I think we need to be bringing in his replacement this summer, and we need to have him as depth for another year at least.
Aren't you being a bit harsh in terms of them? Like you mentioned your previous point about training, the Premier League's intense. You kind of got to trade the way you play. It's not really, you know, it's very different to Spain, etc. Is it harsh to get at Arteta and his training methods, or is that just, you know, the belly of the beast kind of thing?
Is it harsh? Yeah, it's probably harsh. I guess if training is intense and just like the Premier League, then that's fair enough. But I don't know, just the injury patterns, like, it does beg the question though. Like, you've got players that come in and they're just repeatedly getting injured, like Gabriel Jesus. I don't know much about his record at City, if he was injury prone. You know what? Yeah. I'm just going to skip over that one.
Yeah, listen, skip over what you want. Skip over, darling. I'm just saying.
Yeah, feel free to insert him into anything you want.
Why for that? I'm not inserting but go on.
I'm just going to skip
That's
over
crazy.
That. But yeah, like, I just think players come to Arsenal and then they just fall off a cliff when it comes to fitness. Like, not all of them, but yeah.
Tomiyasu, Jesus, Partey, probably a couple of more. Zinny even slightly, but he always misses like 1 or 2 weeks and no one really clocks it.
I know Tierney had quite a bad record, but come on, like, it's bad. You know,
our players are brittle, and then we have a small squad, so it's like it's a horrible cocktail.
Yeah, but it does beg. I think it's harsh to say like, oh, Arteta, you can't be training them too intensely. But I do think it does beg the question, and it's fair to ask the question. Definitely.
I think that's true. I kind of want to focus on our defense a bit. Yeah, obviously Gabriel Magalhaes has been playing out of his skin. In fact, before we get into that, I have to ask where Thomas Partey is concerned. Right now, it seems like a no-brainer. Kind of like this question, you know, is basically saying that everyone can see Partey is a good player, and I would give him a new deal, ideally a 1 year plus a 1 year. But it seems like a no-brainer right now. If we skip forward a year and negatively assume that he kind of reverts back to type, we'd all, as much as it seems like a no-brainer right now, we'd all probably sit there and say we shouldn't have done that. How much of a case do you think the fact that, you know, Partey's fitness and his form, how much of that is because he's essentially either playing for a contract or a move elsewhere?
I think now that's relevant. Like, you can say that, but Partey's had this injury record since he came. So I don't even think that's a fair assessment, because he literally joined Arsenal and shortly after he became really injury prone. So I don't think we can put it down to, because
London lifestyle, man.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't think we can put it down to just kind of
probably in the seashy places like you.
Listen, let's leave my personal weekend business.
I don't know who. I just said I don't know who's. I don't know who was doing anything.
Okay, well,
go on. I'm being rude. I'm interrupting. You're the guest.
I don't think it's down to the fact that he's either playing for a contract or playing for a move. No, because he has been like this since he came to Arsenal. I think there's something else I don't know what it is. I've questioned the training, but it could be something else. Could be the London lifestyle. But no, I don't think it's a fair assessment to say that when it comes to Partey.
Why do you think, like, obviously we've known for a number of years, yeah, you're bang on the money for what it's worth about Partey's injuries, and everyone can see the man's a quality player, but it's all the other baggage. I go back to the year we bought Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Timber, and I think Raya. I wanted 2 centre mids. Now, in hindsight, that was probably Kai Havertz and Declan Rice, but I wanted Lavia at Chelsea. Now, that's been all gone. I'm not here to debate Lavia, but I saw that as kind of the young Partey, like the younger Partey model kind of thing. 2 years later, and it feels like we're only evidently trying to replace Partey when it's at our door. Why do you think like we only find a replacement or have these sort of conversations as a club when it's at our door? Like his contract is running out, we have to find someone, where surely maybe in January, maybe last summer, maybe even the summer before, we could have bought something or done something.
I really don't know, like, because it doesn't make no sense. You know, I don't know if the club likes to any alternative that I can suggest makes no sense. So I don't know if it's the club likes to like squeeze every drop of energy out of players before they think he might be rubbed, let's see what we can do. I don't know if that's the case, because that would just be really stupid. Or if we actually just have idiots running such a big club. Because
what do you think though on that? Because you said idiots running the club.
I think we have idiots running the club. No, I don't think,
names, man.
No, I don't know who to
or point some fingers somewhere. Where is it? Tim Lewis and Kroenke's guys? Is it Arteta or is it Edu? What is it?
It's a mixture. It's Edu as well. Obviously, he's not here no more, but yeah, he's very much accountable for that. Arteta, of course, because he's so vocal when it comes to suggesting players, but then again with Arteta, you know, he can speak up. He can say, I need this, I need that, which I don't think he actually does enough either. You know, I think he's had a lot of opportunities to kind of put the board on blast, and he doesn't. I think he kind of covers for them quite a lot, and tries to kind of just keep like a one face to the public. But sometimes you need to literally show that you're mad. Like you need to be a Conte sometimes and do a madness. You know, I don't know. I think Arteta's got enough credit in the bank at Arsenal, and in terms of their relationship, for him to do that and maybe get away with it. Whereas obviously when Conte did that, we knew it was a wrap for him, you know, straight away. But yeah, Arteta, Edu, Kroenke, of course, like all of it is a mixture. But I just don't think whatever kind of strategy that we have when it comes to signings, our timing is just not good enough. And it never is. Like we might identify good signings.
Facts.
We might, you know, negotiate quite well and get deals over the line, especially in recent years. But the timing, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know.
You mentioned an interesting word there. Yeah, you used the word strategy, and I think that's bang on the money. And it provoked a thought in my head. Like, what do you make of Arsenal's strategy, especially in transfers? Because on one hand, it does feel like we're finding the stars for tomorrow, or maybe guys that came into the game at 18, 19. It didn't really quite work out, like Odegaard. They've landed at Arsenal. They've grown in importance. But equally, you know, we've spent 105 million on Declan Rice, and Declan Rice is one. But then we've been linked with Caicedo, Isaac, Douglas Luiz, Cunha. Half of these Premier League guys, and you know yourself, like they could want to join us. We could want them. It comes down to money. So it's like we're half trying to do the big player stuff, like the stars, and then we're half trying to find the stars of tomorrow. But it's not like we've committed to either rule. And I feel we spoke about this last time. We dropped the ball in the summer in January. Like, what do you make of our strategy? Do you think it's clear enough? Because like we're the same age. You go back to Wenger times, you kind of knew the kind of players Arsene Wenger was going to get, the more technically proficient, etc. Like, do you think our strategy is clouded?
The strategy that we have really frustrates me. I don't actually know what it is, because as I said, it doesn't make any sense, especially with timing. But one thing that really frustrates me about how we operate in the transfer window is we seem to identify talent really early, even before the window opens. You know, we always seem to be in talks or in conversations with
we love chatting.
Yeah, like budding talent across Europe, even beyond Europe sometimes. But what it feels like is that we almost identify these players for other clubs. Like I see a lot of Arsenal identifying players, and then talks just dry up. And then before you know it, another club has gone in there and they've made this big signing. And you almost sat there asking yourself, like, why why didn't Arsenal make that signing? Like, you were in talks for them, you identified them. Why didn't you go ahead?
What
and make
happened?
Yeah, what happened? You're always asking that question, and then when we do, we kind of go around the houses to make sometimes an unknown, like a signing of an unknown player or just some other guy, and then it feels like, well, why did it take you so long, or why did you go that route to just wind up at signing this player? You know, that's kind of how I always feel when it comes to like watching our strategy and how we move in the transfer window. It's always kind of like, we're in talks, we're warming things up for other people, and then we just kind of take a really long route. I also think that we do kind of play the waiting game as well. I think that's part of our strategy, where we sit back and we like to watch what clubs are doing.
Quite reactive.
So yeah, like, it is reactive, but it's not good. Like, we need to be proactive as a club, and that's something that fans have complained about. We've been saying this for years, you know, about our transfer strategy. So yeah, all that waiting around stuff and seeing what other people do, I think we do that a lot, but I don't agree with it. I don't like it. So yeah, just if I could sum up how we move in the transfer window, it'll just be frustrating. Definitely.
I agree with that. Like, I'm kind of piggybanking off that. Obviously, you look at the 2022-23 season, so our first title challenge, to this point, and then looking in the summer. Where do you stand on the whole project thing? Like, has the projected in the sense of we've rebuilt the club, now it's about getting over the line, or are we still doing that?
Yeah. I feel like the project is over. I do feel like what more is there that we can do? Like, I think we touched on this the last time I came on. We've seen Arteta we've seen him go 8th, 5th, 2nd, and it's looking like 2nd again, yeah. But besides this season, because the quality of the league is quite poor in terms of Liverpool are up there, and then everyone else is just not playing as well as they should be. We've seen progression, like in points, like, you know, the team has improved. We are securing more points by the season, so there is that progression there, and it's evident. But I don't see what more there is that needs to be done in terms of fixing the things that were broken when Arteta came in, other than winning silverware. That's the only missing piece.
Getting over the line.
Yeah, like winning silverware. And at this point, I don't even know if it's a league anymore. It could be anything. Like, we just need to win. We need to win something as a team. This team needs to win. And I think that, you know, even if we were to win like an FA Cup, I really do think that would push this team.
We should still be in that competition, to be honest.
We should still be in all the competitions. There's no excuse for any of it, really. You know, Newcastle just won. We should
have been in that final. Credit to Newcastle. They won the League Cup. We did lose to the eventual winners, but I'm jealous.
I'm really, really pleased for them. I didn't actually expect them to win as well. So that just shows you.
Win.
Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did say that actually. But
you should listen to me a lot more. You might learn a thing about football.
I thought Liverpool was gonna. Yeah, I thought they were really gonna do it. But Liverpool have proven that it's the league or bust, and I think they've got the league in the bag. But yeah,
you think like 12 points. You never know.
Yeah.
You know. Do you think we can come back? You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I think they've got that. But yeah, there's no excuse for the cups. I just think if we were to get our hands on at least one of them, I think it would push this team over the line. And that's the missing piece. We can't be winning charity shields and things like that, and then, you know, just kind of smoke over
English Super Cup, man. That's a big trophy. What, you don't rate the Community Shield? Your manager said it's free. He's won 3 trophies. 2 of them are that. Don't you feel you're being a bit condescending and looking down on competitions when silverware is not guaranteed?
I'm not. Look, I like to win. I'm glad that we won on that day.
But you just look down at the English Super Cup. So you don't like winning.
That's all it is to me, though. Like,
it's a day at Wembley.
Yeah, we won on the day. Hurrah! Like, on the day, that was good. And after
we created memories.
Nah, it's forgotten after that. The season starts and it's actually down to business. Like, I'm not gonna be. Do you think that the joy of the Community Shield is carrying me through the season? I'm telling you now, we can win the Community Shield. If we lose the first game of the season, I'm going to be fuming. I'm gonna forget that Community Shield so quickly.
But you just spoke about silverwares.
Nah, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, you know, an FA Cup at least. It's something that we could do repeatedly. You know, why is it now that the 2021's looking like?
How dare she? Trust me. How dare you?
It's equivalent
to the champs.
They say.
Yeah, it is. I think you're being a bit weird because I don't know how you can look down at the English Super Cup. It's a trophy. You spoke of wanting to win silverware. It's a very big trophy. You have to compete and show your unique quality. So I think you're being a bit harsh on
You
one
don't
hand.
have to compete. It's a
You,
one-off
it
thing.
goes to penalties. It's at Wembley. You do have to compete.
Yeah,
You say you want
you
Arteta to
compete
win
in one
silverware, and
game.
now you're getting at him.
Compete in one game. Like you've shown no.
Doesn't that add
Like,
more pressure? Because there's the margins for error are smaller.
No, I don't think it shows more pressure because there are finals that show pressure. You're in the Champions League final. That's pressure. Like
Pressure's adjusted. In many ways, this final is tougher than the champs.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't think it's equivalent to any of those trophies. Not even the Carabao Cup. Nothing. Like it's just a good day. It's a nice little medal for your participation and coming out on top on that day. That's what it is.
I think you're being a bit harsh because it's almost kickstarted some careers at Arsenal. I think, you look at Fabio Vieira, he struggled at Arsenal. Him in the Community Shield was a good thing. Timber at left back prior to his ACL. And that was the first glimpse into Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice and Partey. And I agree it's not the biggest of trophies, but in many ways, surely you could argue the Community Shield is the only trophy bigger than it is arguably the World Cup. Surely.
Are you trolling?
Why would I troll? It's an English Super Cup. You wouldn't look down on the Spanish Super Cup. How could I troll? Silverwares are not a given. How many people actively participate in cup finals? How could I troll? The World Cup's an international tournament, so I give it that. But yeah, you didn't dream about seeing your club win the English Super Cup as a little girl.
Let's agree to disagree.
No, that's not what.
I don't want to go back and forth on it anymore. I think you're trolling. I do think.
Why would I troll? We're Arsenal Football Club. Silverwares are given.
I think we should move on. I don't think we're going to agree on this one.
I am no. Listen, it's not with what I agree. The manager says he's won 3 trophies. 2 of them were the English Super Cup. So if the manager of this football club, who, as you rightly said, took us from 8th back to 5th and getting us in new conversations, if he says that and he's worked with Pep Guardiola, Arsene Wenger, come through La Masia, he's got so much experience. I'm just a humble armchair expert. If he says that, then who am I to say anything? Surely, like who am I? But as you mentioned, let's move on.
He says a lot of things.
Oh, it says a lot, but who are we? We've never been in his shoes. Who are we to judge? If he says it's true, what can we say?
Yeah, let's agree to
who
disagree.
Who are we to put our opinions above anyone, much less Mikel Arteta, super duper Mikel Arteta?
No, you're right. You're right.
Moving away from. No, we'll agree to disagree. We'll agree to disagree. Yeah, I want to ask you something on this whole strategy thing because next year, I hope so. We go into the summer speaking about obviously trying to win the Premier League, doing what we do in the transfer market. But the vast majority of this squad has been together for these 3 years, give or take. Some have been a bit longer, some have been a bit shorter. Do you think there needs to be a bit of a change? Because indirectly, we've seen Odegaard, we're seeing this Berta guy come in. Speculation over Partey. Obviously, you even look at how Teely started his career to now. Like, what do you make? Do you think this is a transitional period? Do you think it's a rebuild, or is rebuild a too strong of a word?
Yeah, I think rebuild is too strong of a word, but I think that's a very interesting point that you raised there because I was worried when, let's say, like last season when we just missed out on the league. Yeah, one of my concerns was like, I don't want this to go stale. Like, I don't want us to kind of run out of ideas.
I want us to hit that glass ceiling.
Yeah, I don't want us to kind of get to a point of stagnation, because we keep kind of pushing towards something and we're not quite getting there, and then we kind of run out of ideas. So that was my concern. But when the Edu thing was announced, I kind of felt a bit like of uncertainty because I was a bit like, okay, well, Edu's played a really pivotal role in this like rebuild,
getting us to this point.
Yeah. So when he was leaving, I was thinking, well, who's going to come in and like, how do we know that we're going to make progress with whoever comes in his place, right? But actually now I feel like letting Edu go, bringing in Berta, I think it's the right thing to do to refresh things around the club. And I think the same needs to be done when it comes to the squad as well, because we don't want to end up like, I can't compare us to City because that City team, before they hit a place where they were kind of like run out of ideas, they won loads and loads of trophies, right?
Serial winners.
yeah, there were serial winners, and then they hit that point where you kind of look at it and you're like, okay, Pep needs to like rejig this. He needs to inject something new into this squad, right? And they kind of hit that point this season, I think. But we can get to that point. Like, we can definitely get to that point without even winning the silverware that someone like Pep's picked up over time. And that's a concern. I think we do need to constantly be ahead of refreshing the squad, refreshing the club. Like, we don't want things to go stale. And I think
proactive, as you said earlier.
Yeah, being proactive. And I think it might be a little bit harsh, but we kind of did experience that having Wenger for so long, you know, and things just being the same for so long. Like, there's no shade on Wenger, okay? Absolutely no shade. But
he'll never be on my channel because we miss him.
No, of course not. It's no shade. I love Wenger, but I'm just saying, like, when something is the same for so long, even if the problem isn't Wenger, that can have other effects on other things, you know, because things haven't changed for 20 odd years. True. You know, so I don't know. I do think it's important for us to stay ahead of the curve, like stay ahead of kind of hitting that point of stagnation. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers the question. I actually forgot what your question was. No,
you definitely answered the question, but like, I guess piggybacking off that question would be like, do you think the club have, I won't necessarily say set themselves up for failure, but if there was any sort of optimism, if any Arsenal fan was still optimistic that the club actually want to win a title, etc., after the disappointment of last summer and what unfolded, do you think going into this summer with Berta and knowing we need a striker and like we've indirectly been talking about change, do you think they have to deliver? Like, there's no way they can't deliver.
What, this season?
This summer, yeah, like in terms of everything we need, depth, strikers, wingers, etc.
Oh, absolutely. I think there is no way. There's no excuse, man. Come on. We're here. This is not, it's now or never. Like, it's actually now.
It's difficult to get business done, if I'm honest.
It doesn't matter.
And there's very few players that can improve us, surely.
You can sign players. We've seen clubs do it. You might not get the first choice. You might not even get the second choice. But I'm expecting for a club like Arsenal, you've got a first, a second, and a third choice, and even a fourth choice planned out.
But if we get the fourth choice, you're going to say that we don't want them. They're not good enough, surely.
Ideally, I don't want the fourth choice, but I'm giving you an example of, like, we need to be very agile, like, in our plans and in our actions. Like, you can't go into the market with one player, you know, one option for a position like that. For me, that's
one love for the super chat. Go on. I'm just praising my man.
It's irresponsible for Arsenal to go in like that. I do think it's now or never. I do think that we need to make signings and cover every position that we've been lacking. When you have a window like January, and you can see how that's affected the team, the fans, I don't think we have any time to play this summer. Like, we need to mean business for real.
What's the absolute priority in the summer? Like, I know there's multiple, but we all know. But what's the one that window shuts, you can't afford to not see Arsenal address?
A striker.
If you had to say one.
A striker. Absolutely a striker. Because you know why? I prefer, when I watch Kai Havertz, I actually prefer him in the centre forward position than when I
brother, you dissed, you know, it's crazy, but go on.
Wait, but listen, I prefer him in the centre forward position than when he's playing in the midfield. Like,
100%.
He's more effective when he's up front, but I will take watching him, having him as depth for the midfield, and having an actual striker.
I don't want it. You're scaring me, Shane. I don't want to see Kai Havertz back in midfield, man. I think we will next season for what it's worth, but I'm kind of scared.
Well, we need a striker. I'd rather, because I don't mind him back. Am I here? Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, you're here now. Maybe it was me, but go on. I missed that.
Okay, and I was saying, like, he can be depth for midfield and he can be depth for the centre forward position, but we cannot go into the season looking at our attack and seeing Kai Havertz as the most promising option for centre forward. I can't have that. Like, I can have him as depth for that position, and I can have him as depth for midfield. I would rather see him start in, like, the lesser games as a centre forward. If he must play, then he can start in the midfield alongside an actual striker. But yeah, if there's one position that we need to absolutely lock down, it's the striker position.
I mean, goals win games, and football's decided in both boxes. They say titles are, defense wins titles and strikers win games. I do think we have a title, potential title winning defense. I'm agreeing with you in that I think we need a left winger and a striker. Apart from Saka and Wanyeri, we're quite dire there. But surely midfield, because that's where their games won and lost, and we still haven't fully replaced Granit Xhaka. I know Rice is playing there. We've spoken earlier about Partey departing and Jorginho, and big up Merino. We'll get onto him. He's playing up front, but he's not a difference maker. Surely midfield is as important, or arguably more important than the striking role.
It is as important, but we have Partey, we have Rice, we have Ødegaard, we've got
Partey on paper for a matter of months, though.
Yeah, but we know that, and we've established that we need to be giving Partey a new deal. But if you're asking me, would I rather sign a midfielder to shore up the midfield and go without a new striker, or trust in Partey, Rice and Ødegaard and sort out another contract for Partey this season and have a striker? If I had to make that choice, I'm choosing to keep the midfield as it is with Partey, Rice and Odegaard, and I'm getting a new striker. Like, if I had to make that choice, yeah, that's what I would choose. But I don't want us to be in a position that we have to choose between these things. We shouldn't, like, that's my point. Like, there is no making a choice. Like, we need to address everything, all the business, and that's internal business and the external, like getting the externals in as well. Like, it just needs to be sorted out, because I just feel like in January, I don't know, maybe the Edu thing was looming. Maybe they felt like they couldn't act. I just felt like we were sitting on our hands in January, just doing nothing. So we have a lot to make up for.
We definitely were sat on our arse. Like, do you think then, because obviously, like, we don't work at the club. We don't know what Arteta's asked for and he's not got. We don't know what the club have tried to push on Arteta, pause, and he's not wanted it. Like, a lot of people criticize Edu, and rightly so. But if Arteta has certain tactics on a football pitch, and like with the players, one luxury they have is we can see what they've done well or not. We don't actually know what the boardroom's doing. Do you think we're putting too much faith in Berta? Now, obviously, his credentials are great. He's been at Atletico for 12 years. You see the players he's brought in and whatnot. But surely one man who, like you said, Edu left in November. He's basically our new sporting director in March. It's a matter of months until the transfer window opens. Like, do you think we're putting too much faith in one man? Because nothing to do with him necessarily, but surely he can't change everything in a short space of time on his own.
Yeah, but I think that's just fans, though. Like, us as fans, we're already kind of like, we get carried away really easily. But I do think that as fans, you can expect naturally when we've lost Edu, and like I said, when that happened, I'm sure a lot of fans felt like I did, where we were a bit like, hang on,
whoa,
like, what's going to happen? You know, because Edu was really pivotal. So I was a bit concerned. So now that we've got in this guy who has really good credentials, I'm sure a lot of the fans heard that news and thought, and they had a sign of relief. Yeah, they were thinking, okay, like, let's go. Like, you know, we're on the way to a better summer window. But I don't think the board and the club are necessarily doing that. Like, I think they're probably, well, I'd hope that they're a lot more grounded than the fans can be. But no, I think it's natural. I think it's natural for fans to be, I don't even want to say be excited, because that phrase, it haunts me. But
that's got people in trouble, man.
Yeah, that phrase is crazy. But yeah, I think it's natural for fans to be excited. When Arsenal make good signings and we do good business, like, we should be happy about that. We should be happy about bringing in a competent person. But I just think, yeah, as fans, let's not get carried away, because one man, one body is not going to defeat the Stan Kroenke, you know, and his wicked ways. So, you know, there's only so much one man can do, but it's positive signs, though.
I mean, aren't you being a bit harsh on Kroenke? Because I share a lot of what you say about the owners, and we're going to get onto them, but I can't blame the Kroenkes for us not winning the title. They didn't tell Mikel Arteta to spend over 100 million on Moreno and Kai Havertz. And as this comment here says, Kai Havertz is on like 200 plus a week. Like, maybe that has an effect as to what we can do, because we're not going to sell Jesus, can't sell Kai Havertz, probably a couple of other players. There's no guarantee. We know Partey and Tini are going to leave, but there's no guarantee all the other big money players are going to be sold. We don't know the status of the new contracts. So it's like, can you really just blame the Kroenkes for that? Because Arteta's got his way. Because one wonders about the power dynamics with Berta and Arteta approaching this summer as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big question. That was a big question for me as well, in terms of like, I think Edu and Arteta had more of a collaborative like relationship, like the way they worked. I do see this Berta guy being more of a leader in terms of like the decision making when it comes to signings. But I think Arteta really, if he's matured as a coach and as a manager, then he needs to let Berta do his job. Like he needs to kind of allow space for that, you know, for Berta to do his
Let
job.
go of the control. Or the Kroenke's got to give Berta the luxury to have an equal playing field with Arteta in that regard.
It needs to either be accounted for by the Kroenkes, or if I think it would really show Arteta's maturity as a manager of this club to allow Berta to have that space and kind of know, you know, of course he's going to make suggestions. Of course he's going to identify players as well, which we want, you know, we want him to be involved. But I don't think when there's a difference between being involved and being in control or having control. And I don't necessarily agree with that. So we have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting to watch, but I think it will say a lot about Arteta and his maturity, you know, as a coach, how
People
he works.
People are asking in the comments what you mean by this mature thing as well.
Because he joined Arsenal as a brand new manager. So he has to learn a lot of lessons. And I would hope that one of the lessons that he's going or has learned over time is to know when to kind of let go, maybe know when he's making a decision that's not correct, maybe not be as stubborn as we've seen him be. For me, that would show maturity, how well he works with a new sporting director that's being brought in, who's coming with a reputation, not like how Arteta came in with no reputation, no clout, no nothing. This is someone that's coming in with the complete opposite. So how he responds to that will indicate his maturity as, you know, where he's at in his career. That's what I mean. I hope that clears it up.
I think you're bang on the money, man. And in relation to Mikel Arteta, I think there's one thing that this is just my personal thoughts, and I'm not just saying this to keep the manager or anything, but I was thinking about it the other day. It's like when we went out to Bayern Munich, which would not to shade anyone, but wasn't the best Bayern Munich side, or we look in the Europa League, or we look at what's facing us with Real Madrid. The same could be extended to the players, but a lot of this is uncharted waters for Arteta. Like he's never been in this scenario before, so he's kind of learning it, and I think we're gonna have to take the good, rough, and the smooth. Going back to Berta, I agree with what Jay's saying here. Shout him out. He's like a top gooner, man. He's my guy, but he's yeah. If you see some of his comments, he gets mad when we criticize the club. But I think he's bang on the money in that he said a lot of our signings are in progress. He'll have a major effect further down the line. This won't be a Berta summer. I agree with that. In maybe Berta has his own signings, maybe he's able to do something, but I think he's just going to join a plan that's already in motion. Whether that plan is good enough, I don't know. And then he said Berta won't come in to upset the apple chart. That's not the way Arsenal do business. I agree but disagree. Naturally it's going to be collaborative, but we're not here to make friends. There needs to be people that make difficult decisions and go against the grain. That's why I said in an ideal world, cool, this is what the Kroenkes do. You put Arteta, you put Berta, you lot solve it. I think they need an equal footing, because I think for me with Arteta, the expensive mistakes in terms of potentially Mikel Merino, more so Kai Havertz, we need to cut that out and just sign players that organically address things. I did want to ask you before I forget, do you think Arsenal are happy to compete generally, or do you think like we actually want to win? Like, do you think we're happy to just be part of these conversations?
I do think that the club, sadly, I do think that the board, I do think we're just happy to be part of the conversations. You know, we can't say that. Like, I'm sure Josh Kroenke wants to win, right? Like, I'm sure he wants to win. The fans want to win. I'm sure Mikel Arteta wants to win. But when I look at Stan Kroenke, and I think he's really the one that, Josh is the face, but I think when someone's saying, look, we need this amount of millions to make this signing, he's
I was jealous of Newcastle's owner. You're never going to get that at Wembley with the Kroenkes celebrating our trophy, but go on.
That's crazy. Like, I think Stan is the one that has the final say in terms of like, I'm actioning this transfer out of my account or whatever.
It's his club, it's not Josh's.
Exactly. Josh is just the face. And so like, I do think that, sorry, what was your question again? You distracted me with this Newcastle owner.
Are we just happy to be here?
Oh yeah. So I do think that.
Come on, man, start listening. The pretty girl ain't got no common sense. You see people.
Hey, be easy.
I'm very easy.
I do think the likes of Stan Kroenke, yeah, I just think he's happy to be there. If he's in top 4, great. He's making money. He's getting Champions League money. Club, you know, we bring in a lot of revenue through shirts, through the stadium, like going to games and all of that. I think he's happy. Like, he's a business owner.
Merchandise.
Yeah, like he doesn't have, his priorities are revenue and his business, which is what the club is to him. But us as the fans, no, we're never going to be happy. I don't think there's one Arsenal fan out there that you can put that on and say, oh, they're just happy to be there. No way. But
are we being harsh to Josh then? Because he was in attendance at the Emirates against Chelsea. He has been more of a frequent flyer. We've probably seen this last month and a bit. He's been pictured in London quite frequently. Are we being harsh to the Kroenkes?
Yeah, but all of this has been pictured. I think Josh is a PR merchant. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he does it very well. I'll give him that. He does it well. He's gotten better over the years. I think the Super League saga was really what kicked Josh Kroenke into his PR bag. Like, he's really good for that. You know, he knows when to show up. He knows when he needs to make a little video, make a little statement. He knows.
Well, wish we saw that in January.
Yeah, well, he did. He fell short there, but I think it was just so bad that he couldn't even show face for that one. He just said, yeah, let me just leave it. But yeah, I think he's just a PR merchant. Like, honestly, that's really, I don't think we're being harsh on him, because I think he's doing as much as what he does. It's for him as well as it's for the fans and for the players and for, you know, supporting Mikel. It's also for him, because what's been put to the fans is that he is, you know, in control of happenings at this club. Yes, his dad owns it, but he makes the decisions. You know, he is effectively the owner, the acting owner. And so when he does all these appearances and stuff like that, I think he has to, because he wants peace. So he better be seen doing those things. But does that actually mean that he's a good owner and doing all the right things? No, not necessarily. Because if he was, then he would get his dad would be more invested and things would be different.
I hear that, but like, obviously, whether we agree with how they run the club or not, we know they like to put people in place, leave them to their own devices, and kind of a bit like on brand with what Arsenal was anyways. We like to work within our remits. He's allowed Arteta to sign goalkeeper galore. He signed him when he had no CV really to take over this job. But they stuck by him when he could have been sacked numerous times. Mikel Arteta has got to spend 105 million on a player in Declan Rice, so breaking our club transfer record. Aren't you being a bit harsh on the Kroenkes then? Like, surely you can't blame them as to why we've stagnated this season, or they're not the reason as to why we were 2 points off last season. Like, that's a bit harsh, ain't it?
They're not, but look at us this season. Like, you're only as good as this season. Yeah, like we can look at last season and we did this and we did that and we're 2 points off, and then as soon as this season starts, last season is forgotten, and you've only got the credit in the bank for what you've done this year. And what we've done this year, especially in the January transfer window, is just unacceptable. Just on that alone, like, I can't say that we're being harsh on Kroenke. You don't operate like that and say you want to win things, and then on top, there's no explanation. Like, there's no kind of, was there a reason why we didn't act in January despite all the injuries?
Keeping the powder dry, which, I mean, is that harsh? Because you don't want to commit heavily in January, where you know in the summer you can find more long-term options. Is that necessarily wrong, as much as it frustrates me?
It's wrong when you're in the position that we were in. If we had no injuries and we were flying 2 points away from Liverpool or even on top of the league, and we didn't sign in January, I would still be annoyed, but I'll be like, it's Arsenal. We're doing what we need to do, so we haven't made signings in January. And that's what I'll put it down to. Because when was the last time we made a signing in January? I think we brought Trossard in January, and then the last January we didn't bring anyone else in.
Trossard, Kivi, or Jorginho. But yeah, I think you're right.
So the January after that, we didn't bring anyone in, and then this January we didn't bring anyone either. But the January after we brought in Trossard and that, we were top of the league and we were playing well. So you can look at it and be like, well, okay, we're top of the league. We needed this, but we're doing what we need to do with what we've got. Contrast to this season, look at the position that we were in. This is a club saying we want to win things. We're saying we're challenging to win the Premier League, and you're like plus 10 points off Liverpool, not playing the greatest. Your attack is completely depleted, and you don't sign anyone. Different circumstances. Just different.
Do you think Arteta's overachieved then?
No, in the grand scheme of things, no, because we are 5 years in to the project. I think he overachieved in certain seasons. That season where we were competing for top 4 and we missed it because we didn't beat Spurs, I think it was. Then we went again the next season after that, I was sitting there thinking, all right, cool, like we need to make sure we secure top 4. Like that is the priority. We need to be comfortably in the top 4. And then we were challenging for the Premier League. I'd say he overachieved that season because nobody saw it coming. But once you challenge for the Premier League and then you keep coming second, you like in the grand scheme of things, he hasn't overachieved because you keep coming second.
So if anything, Eddie Howe's overachieved, if I'm honest with you. Saved Newcastle from relegation, 70 plus years, ended their trophy drought. It's got them in certain conversations. I wouldn't say Mikel Arteta's overachieved. I don't think he's nothing he's done has been groundbreaking. Yes, you can talk about the statistics and all of that kind of stuff, but I've seen us win FA Cups. I've seen us finish second. I've seen us get to the latter stages of the Champions League. Fair enough, we never got embarrassed, but I won't say he's done anything groundbreaking in that regard. Yeah, speaking of phases, what do you make of this Mikel Arteta comment? When he was asked a few days ago on like the phase plan and whatnot, he said we're in phase 4 to 5, and that is establishing yourself at the highest level in the Champions League, consistently performing with a lot of unity and being very close to touching big trophies. You don't feel that's what we are now?
I mean, it's where we are now, but who made it? Like, did he outline these definitions when he first joined, or is he making them up as he goes along? Because it's giving he made it up. Like he adds a few segments into the phases. I don't know. You know, it sounds good. That is what we're doing. I mean, you could. How easy is it to say we're in phase, like describing exactly what we're doing and calling it phase 4 to 5? Like that's easy. Like it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, I need to see the plan of these phases that he outlined when he joined this club to know if I should believe anything he's saying there. I think he's saying it to sound good, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
He also said as well, when asked on if it's a failure if we don't win silverware, we are not there yet. The way I describe failure is different compared to what someone else does. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's interesting because...
Why is it interesting? Let us have your thoughts. Don't be shy, man.
He might have a point in the sense that, yeah, there has been progression, and him as a coach, he's seeing our team and our club from so many different perspectives that he can probably, you know, he has got a view that a lot of us don't have. So that's probably why he's saying that. But then at the same time, we're fans. We really don't care. And that's always going to be what it's going to be. Like, we just want to win. Surely he understands that. So failure is coming close and never winning. That's a failure, like to us, right? I think he's right and wrong. Like, I think he's got a fair point because he sees the club from so many different perspectives that we just don't and wouldn't. But at the same time, he needs to understand if fans are saying it's a failure, it's because of one reason. And at the end of the day, the fans are what keeps the club going. So their opinion is the most relevant at the end of the day. Facts.
Do you think we're in the top 4 race? It was good that we obviously beat Chelsea because it gave us a bit of a breathing room. But, you know, you look at second place all the way to Newcastle, funny enough, or even City with the 5 places. There's not much. Are we in the top 4 race? Like, it was nice to beat Chelsea because we arrested a bit of bad form. But are we in the top 4 race?
I don't think we're in the top 4 race. I think that's stretching it. I think we are comfortably in the top 4. I don't think anything can knock us out of the top 4. To be honest, the clubs below us can't put a run together. Like they pick up results here and there, but none of them can put a run together. And neither can we, to be honest. But we're just better than them, so that's why we're there. Yeah. So no, I don't think we're in the top 4 race. It's really just quite disappointed. Like we are just second again. Like that's just it.
I hear you, but before I ask you about this, yeah, it's not a successful season, but my team are not failures. You won't see Saka in person and tell him he's a failure, would he? I'm not too sure on what the second sentence means because nobody's going to say that. And you really think Saka, Mikel Arteta, half of these players wouldn't describe it privately as a failure? If it's not a successful season, then it is a failure. And then we are by default failures. You need to fail in life. Sometimes you need to lose. So it shows you where you stand, where you need to go, any airs of complacency, what you have actually done well. When there's every reason to be negative, focusing on the positives, and when there's every reason to be positive, thinking of the negatives. For me, that just screams like I don't want to be honest. In the same way, if we won something, we're successes. The only permanent failure is refusing to get up and try. But we are failures. We've been talking about wanting to win the league. The manager and everybody said in May, don't rest on your laurels. And whether it's down to the players, Mikel Arteta, the Kroenkes, this has been the worst of the three title challenges we've had. It is a failure. There's no silverware. We went out of the FA Cup unnecessarily against United. Yeah, we lost to the eventual winners in Newcastle. We didn't equip ourselves in the best way across those two legs. Real Madrid is Real Madrid, and it's just inshallah and vibes in that regards. The Premier League, we're 12 points off. We're 12 points off Liverpool. People can talk about injuries. People can talk about how bad all the other teams are. What does that mean? It's a failure, bro. So, I mean, I'm not too sure on all of that. I'm not trying to get Saka in my bed, so I don't know what Donny's on. But anyways, Mikel Merino has scored 3 goals in the Prem since he became Arsenal's 9. Only Mohamed Salah and Marmoush have scored more goals than him. Maybe we didn't need a striker. Maybe we don't need a striker. Maybe he's the next Van Persie. Maybe we don't buy strikers, we make them. I'm asking you now.
That last sentence was so funny, I swear. Mikel Merino he's doing okay. He's doing a good job. But when I watch him, I'm just like, this guy is, when he scores, yeah, I know all of us are like breathing a sigh of relief and we're thinking, oh my God, yes, he's come through, this guy again. But I think he thinks that as well. Like, I think he's genuinely surprised. Like, when he scores, I think he's thinking, oh my God, it worked.
He's had a lot to deal with psychologically, I must admit, since signing for this football club.
It's a lot. The guy came in, barely even played a game, got injured in training. Gabriel fell on him or whatever. Like, imagine that. You didn't even
There was a lot of propaganda about his signing as well.
Yeah, even him coming in the first place was like a lot of chatting. And then now he's been thrown into this position. I don't even think we've got to see Merino in his like actual intended position for more than like 3-4 games.
Yeah, on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I can't really recall, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like when he scores, I honestly think that he's just as surprised as I am. And that is a very big concern because, yeah, he's doing it. He's obviously got ability to get into the right positions and he knows, how to use his body to be like a threat in front of goal. But we are Arsenal. We cannot have a player in the centre forward position that is like riding on his luck every time he's playing. Like, if he was in his natural position, then fair enough, like put him there and let him do his job. But when you're playing him in that centre forward or when you're relying on him to be the threat in front of goal, it's too risky of a game. Like, we are really just on thin ice with this guy. Like, and it's not even any shade to him because he's coming up with goods. But again, it's just to the club. Like, you're just playing. Like, what if he gets injured now? That's not going to affect the midfield.
Then we're fucked.
Exactly. It won't impact the midfield as much as it's going to impact our attack now if he was to get injured. So it's just like, yeah, it's a risky game.
Jay, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, but I'm gonna read this out. Okay, failing to hit the target doesn't label me a failure. Part of the progress is how you phrase things. You won't ever hear a player say they're failures. You've heard several players say they have failed. Semantics, I guess, but it's not progressive language. It doesn't need to be progressive language. It just needs to be honest. We have made no progress this season. We had significant progress. If you fail to hit a target, that is a failure. So that is failing. Whatever helps you sleep at night. I think it's easier to just accept that we failed, learn from our failures, and hopefully next year we're in a different scenario. I mean, it's nonsense. But anyways, going back to this year, aren't you being a bit harsh? He's joined with Bukayo Saka for 5 goals. He's 1 off Martinelli, and obviously Kai's got 9, but he's injured. So he's done well. We don't need a striker. He's shown his versatility.
I don't care about stats. Like, honestly, I don't care about. Nah, yeah, I don't care about stats. Stats can paint a very like distorted picture of things. And you know, just as an example, I think you tried to rail off some stats about Sterling earlier. We know how that's been going. So
Sterling.
Stats can't be trusted. I think, you know, in what world can we compare how effective Bukayo Saka to Mikel Merino?
This is what you do on a football pitch, man. I've seen some unique qualities from Mikel Merino. The way he's taken to playing up front, a role that's not him, he's done very well, especially as there's been a lot of noise about his career. He's got unique aerial qualities that many people in the squad don't have, and he looks a lot more confident. He wouldn't be the first player I've seen converted into a forward, so maybe he could do something.
I don't think that the stats. Let's say, for example, we use your thing, yeah. His stats are on par with Saka, but can you say that Mikel Merino's performances that he's been putting in the last few weeks are sustainable across multiple seasons? Let's talk of Bukayo Saka's 5.
I can't predict the future, but he's surely got a better minutes to goal ratio than Bukayo Saka. You can't predict
the future, but what do you think?
He wanted these healthy problems.
You don't believe it wholeheartedly, though. You can't predict the future, but you don't even think it. Like you don't.
Why can't I believe? I don't know. I don't know. Crazy thing. I didn't think we'd ever sign Declan Rice. I didn't think Declan Rice, if he signed for Arsenal, would be an 8. I didn't think Tierney would ever be in the role he is. I didn't think Lewis Skelly would lock down the left back spot. We need a squad with unique qualities. How do I don't know. Is Saka more consistent in my eyes because of the body of work? Great.
That's true, but I don't want to take. My point is, I don't want to take the gamble. I don't want to.
Your manager does though.
No, I don't want to find out.
And he's not playing the young striker. He's playing him.
The manager does because he has to do that this season until our attack is back. That's what he has to do this season. Does that mean that we don't need a striker in summer because we can potentially convert Mikel Merino? Listen, let's not play games like.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just asking the questions. He's an experienced Euros winner. He's came in and he's playing up front and he's doing quite well. We've seen it work with Kai Havertz. Why couldn't it work with Mikel Merino? You can't conflate your want for a striker with dislodging his importance.
But this is the mentality that we can't afford to have as Arsenal fans. Like, this is why we are where we are, and we get clowned for just getting too excited when it's like throwing a dog a bone. And you know you're just good, but there's a bigger bone. Like I don't understand.
Why?
I don't understand. Like I just think we can't get carried away by this. This is not sustainable. It's a short-term solution, and I think that's all we can look at it as. That's what we should look at it as. Let's not drop our standards and what we've been screaming all season that we want a striker for this, like, because I think we've fallen victim to that before, so I don't want us to repeat those mistakes.
I mean, it's an interesting one to have. I mean, somebody, you know, when I'm done with asking you, making you repent for your sins for Raheem Sterling, I remember you specifically getting at my guy Martin Odegaard. Odegaard got an assist yesterday. Statistically, he ran the show, and yesterday he actually has the most assists. Huh?
You're a liar.
You got at him. You said he's not on nothing. He's got more assists than Bergkamp and Cess now. That's good for an Arsenal captain, no?
First of all, you're a filthy liar because you were the one.
Stand on what you said. Don't deny it now.
Getting on to Odegaard. You were even the one trying to say, is he a luxury player? This, and that. I was saying.
I asked you a question. Do you think Odegaard's a luxury player? I didn't condemn him like you lot. I call him Wondergaard, the class region.
You were planting seeds, and I was telling you that Odegaard. You were trying to compare Odegaard to Sterling. Once again, this Sterling agenda that you have.
I'm just saying these are guys.
Or Sterling.
Why are you getting triggered? I'm just asking the question.
No, I'm not getting triggered. I'm just saying. I was telling you.
You questioned Odegaard's ability last week and his captaincy. I'm simply saying, was it premature?
You are foul. But
he's overtaken Cesc Fabregas and Dennis Bergkamp for Premier League assists against Chelsea. That deserves a bit of flowers.
He's brilliant. Just like I said last week, he's brilliant. But I still do stand by.
You never said he was brilliant last week.
I did say, I'm sure I did. But my thing was that you asked me, would I take his captaincy now, or would I consider giving it away at the end of the season? I said I would consider giving it away at the end of the season. But that doesn't mean that I would take away from his quality as a player. I was definitely saying that he's a pivotal player to us and our team. And you can replace what Sterling does for us, but I don't think you can replace what Odegaard does for us. And that stat about overtaking and Fabregas, that stat proves it. You know, you threw up the stat. That proves what my point. Like
assist
Sterling
against Chelsea in a London
is
derby
not
like that. You're next to Bergkamp and says Fabregas in anything. You deserve your flowers, surely.
Yeah, he does deserve his flowers, but does that mean that he deserves to be captain next season? That's a different conversation.
What has he done for you to want to take his captaincy away?
I just think there's better captain material in the team. That's all. It's nothing against
But how
him.
do
I
you
just
know? Are
think
you
there's
with
better
them?
captain
How
material.
do we know Odegaard isn't the biggest
mean,
figure behind the scenes?
Well, we know that that's not the case because Arteta has actually said that
He
he's
leads
not.
the press and all of that, doing that.
Yeah, he leads the press. He can do that. He can keep doing that. Like, he might be the best player to lead the press. You don't have to be the captain to lead the press.
I think you're being very harsh, man. I think you're being very harsh. How do we know his voice? You know, he leads by example. So what if
voice?
Odegaard was, huh?
What voice though? What voice? I promise
As
you,
I said, I'm not on the ground. I don't know what's going on in training.
Anytime the team is, you know, them like team talks that they do at the beginning of the games, yeah. When is it ever Odegaard speaking? It's never Odegaard speaking, you know.
You see Odegaard, that's being harsh. You do see Odegaard. You do see Odegaard. You're being very harsh.
Okay, I've seen him do it like a couple of times, but really and truly, I see like Declan Rice talking a lot of the time. Like, my point is, I think there's just better captain material in our squad. Like, we've got Declan Rice, we've got Gabriel. I think they will make really good captains, and it doesn't have to be a negative thing. You're just giving someone else a turn. He's been captain for what? 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah,
like, give someone else a go in it. It's no hard feelings. Like, nothing. It's not negative. I just think we can try something else. Let's try something different.
So what? Okay, so what is supposed to happen? I just want to know, because you're saying get rid of the captaincy. What is supposed to happen, like, to Odegaard once you take that armband off, and what's supposed to happen to Declan Rice or Gabriel once they put this magical armband on?
Nothing. That's my whole.
So then, if it's nothing, what are we waffling about?
They are gonna stay the exact same people, and that's my whole point. Because Declan Rice.
So then, what's the point?
He exudes leadership. Odegaard doesn't exude that. Now, I don't know what he talks about with the squad when they're behind.
He became our captain, and we fought for a title. That's leadership.
Do you think that has anything to do with it? How about we signed
that's leadership
as well? How about he became the captain and we also signed leaders in the team and we got better and then we challenged for titles? I don't think you can say, oh, Odegaard became the captain. And that's not true, because actually, no, Xhaka wasn't the captain when he was in his last season.
No, he wasn't.
All right, cool.
No,
but no, I don't think you can.
He wasn't. He wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
No, I know he wasn't.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
He was wrong. He wasn't. Test it to Odegaard being captain for us challenging. Like, no, there are many factors as to why we were challenging, and I don't think that's one.
And Odegaard's one of them, surely.
No, Odegaard is one of them, but him being captain is not.
Why not?
Why is it? Where's the proof? Where's the proof?
Because I see
him do that you can attest to. Oh yeah, this is Odegaard's influence.
May I speak?
Please.
May I speak? Can I speak? You see him go to all the events. You see him go to all the events with the Arsenal legends and take time to speak with the fans and whatnot. You hear about what he's about leading stuff off the field in terms of activities and whatnot. You hear about after defeats what he does with the dressing room. Arteta, who's done so well for this football club, has made him the captain, so they see him as a senior figure to the even younger Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri. Yeah, it might not be my level of captaincy, but aren't you being a bit harsh on the guy? Like, what do you want him to just? He's captain of his country as well. There's no bigger testament than that. Like, do you want him to just fly into mad tackles and whatnot? Would that appease you, Miss Shirley?
It's not about flying into mad tackles. I just think his demeanor and his character doesn't really give captain material to me. I wouldn't say that what he does outside of the pitch isn't effective, but you're talking about like going to events and taking pictures with legends and, you know,
that all counts.
Having a process. Yeah, it all counts, but why can't Declan Rice do that? Why can't Gabriel do that? These are things that everyone...
They all do it anyways.
So these are things that can be taught, and we don't know if other players have a process for after the games. We really don't know. Like, we haven't seen that yet, so we can't just say, oh, because Odegaard does this, like, oh yeah, he's great captain material. He's been a good captain, but I think that there are other players in the team that would captain differently and well, and I think that's fair to say. Like, and he would still be effective even if he wasn't captain, because you can't take his talent away from him. I just think, what is the problem with trying something different?
I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong. I'm just being devil's advocate. What do you make of David Ornstein on reports of a potential 300 million spend this summer? He said, I'm not aware of a specific number, but Arsenal recently posted heavy financial results. There'll definitely be room to maneuver. I'd expect it to be a pretty busy summer at the Emirates. Now, added on to that as well, Shirley, there is this kind of talk that there might have to be an unpopular sell. Whatever player that is, what denomination, I don't know. But what do you make of it?
Sorry, you cut off. There might need to be a what?
There might need to be a high profile sell, some are saying as well.
Oh, well, firstly, on that talks about 300 million being spent in summer, I'm not surprised because that is in line with what I want and what I'm expecting the club to do. I'm actually expecting, I think I said something like 350, around that,
You're bugging if you think we're spending that.
Upwards of 300 million. I'm happy
You're
with that.
bugging out if you think we're spending that.
Look, I'm just saying, if that's what I'm hearing, I'm happy to hear it. But the whole point about the high profile sell, who? Like, I'm just
subjective.
Is it Martinelli? Well, okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna
could
happen.
be Saliba, could be Martinelli. You could even say Trossard or Zinchenko would be quote unquote forcing it, but high profile. So it could be anyone.
Like, what are they classing as high profile? But yeah, a first team player. Yeah, why not? Like, I see it happening. I don't think we're going to keep everyone. We're not going to retain everybody. Definitely not. And we need to raise some money. So, yeah, if we do want to spend upwards of 300 million, then we are going to need to raise some money. That would mean letting go of players. But I don't know. Are there any like other fringe players that we can sell? Like, we need to be selling like the Tierney's of the world.
Tierney's Tierney's gone for free, so we're not getting no money. Tierney, Jorginho, Partey, forget any money on them. Their contracts are out at the end of the season. It frees up resources. It depends though, man, because me and you can make a case of who we'd keep and who we'd sell, but you're reliant on the players to go. Some, for whatever reason, might not want to leave. Either that's because of the club's interested or they believe they can force their way in Arteta's plans. It's a weird one because we need to buy anyways, but are we going to have we're going to buy before we sell or we're going to sell before we can buy? I'm not really sure. But you would imagine Kivior's one, Zinchenko's one, Trossard's one, mad asterisks near it, but because of the Real Madrid thing, if worse came to worse, potentially Saliba's one. Who really is going to Trossard if I haven't said him? Tommy and Jesus are not going. So really and truly, who is going to be sold? Obviously, you got the Lokongas, the Fabio Vieiras, and all of them kind of guys, but who really is going to be sold? I mean, every little helps. If you sell one for 20 and that, fair, but there's no big money sell, surely.
Yeah, and none of the names that we've kind of listed off, like Trossard included, apart from Saliba, would be a big money sell. Like, none of them would be a big money sell apart from Saliba, really and truly. But it could be any one of them. I don't think Saliba's going to go, to be honest. I think that I think if Arsenal were to let him go, we would be like beyond, we would look so stupid. Like, it would look really bad. And I don't think that the club are going to take a chance on it. Like, no way. They're going to lock him down at least for another 3 years. Like, I think that's what they'll do. But yes, I don't think Saliba's in the picture there. It's one of them other guys. And I don't think, I guess you can call them high profile, but it's definitely not going to be, we ain't getting more than 40 million for any of them. So I don't know.
A piece, yeah. And I mean, that's where obviously we need to bring in players, but that's where I think that's one thing Berta's got to do to earn his chops. I don't know what we're going to do with Fabio Vieira, but it'd be interesting there. I do think you need to get something decent for Kivior. If they haven't made the decision already, and funny enough, more so for Trossard than Zinchenko, we need to get decent fees for them. Tomiyasu and Jesus are irrelevant. They're injured. They're not gonna get flogged essentially. So it'll be techie, man. But we need to do well in terms of outgoings. I don't think we're the best in terms of selling, but where you look at Smith Rowe, potentially Ramsdale, apologies, and there's someone else, Nketiah. Last season was a step in the right direction. Before I let you get out of it though, man, you've indirectly touched on Real Madrid and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, we've got Real Madrid in the champs. Like, is there optimism? Because you were saying we could beat them.
Well, did I say we can beat Real Madrid?
You did. You know what you said. I don't know why you're lying on the net. You know what you said.
I actually don't remember saying that. And if I did,
don't let these lot make you be scared to have your own opinion, man. Come on.
No,
it's calm.
Never. I don't remember saying that. And if I did, I don't know why I said it, because I don't really have. Listen, I don't think we'll get like battered. I don't think we'll get battered by them, but I don't think we just don't have what it takes to compete with them in such a high intensity game, yeah, where there's so much at stake for us and for Real Madrid, because it's Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Mbappe's got 30 goal contributions this year as well.
Exactly.
But we've got Mikel Merino.
I don't see, like, they are not going to let up on us. It's going to be really, really tricky for us from minute 1 of the first leg, like, to even just get through without getting totally humiliated. I don't think they'll do that to us, but I just don't think we just don't have what it takes to dig in enough against
Saka
them.
might be returning. You got one year in Lewis Kelly standing up. We got one of the best defenses in Europe. Shouldn't you be a lot more optimistic? Nothing to lose as well.
Like I said, like, there's nothing to lose. Yeah, cool. I don't think we're going to get battered. I think we'll play well. We'll give them a good game. But you're talking about going through, knocking them out. I don't think so. I don't know how. It could even be on penalties. Like, but I just think that when it comes to
Odegaard's back at his old club as well.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of things, a lot of factors to it, but I don't know. I just think it could be penalties. But I think they'll do something and they'll get through.
You don't feel? Go on.
It's hard to admit it though. Like, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, it's hard to say that. Listen, I don't think we're going to get through. But yeah,
So Saka coming back doesn't give you hope. Bagged against Bayern, scored a free kick against PSG early in the campaign. Big game player he is.
No, it doesn't give me hope, and I don't want to make that mistake that we've made year in year, year after year as Arsenal fans. But we just dump all this pressure on Saka. We dump all our hope onto Saka. Saka is the answer. He's a star boy. Yes, he is, but we need to stop doing that. Like, we need to recognize that Saka coming back, he's one man. Like, he is not going to fix. He's not going to save us. Like, he's going to come and do his thing, but he ain't going to save us. Like, so even with Saka coming back, like I said, we're not going to play badly. Like, I don't think we're going to get battered. I don't think we're going to, you're saying, like, do I have optimism? I have optimism that they're not going to humiliate us.
Sterling will be there in the second leg as well.
Okay. But, I have optimism that we won't get battered. I don't have optimism that we are going to win and knock Real Madrid out. I don't.
I think you need to be. I think you're being quite negative, man. I think, for many years we've shown why we're one of the best teams in the Prem, despite not winning the title. And I think you look at the bookies' favourites, we're not necessarily that. If we get past Madrid, then you can start to dream. But banter aside, I don't think we're going to get smoked, but I just feel it's a task too high. I feel if the game's open, they're going to convert their chances. I feel even if we go there with a mid and low and deep block, whatever block you want, it's not sustainable for 180 minutes. And for me, I'm looking at the second leg. And it goes back to what I said at the start. It's like Arteta and these players have never, a lot of them have, but as a squad, they're learning this. Like, this is his first time playing against Madrid. Last year was your first time playing against Bayern Munich. It's going to be you lot's first time within these contexts. Carlo and his boys, even the young ones, they've been there, done it, wore the t-shirt several times. So I have to see. When asked about the Champions League early in the season, Odegaard said his was to go further in the comp, not to win it. That's when I knew he ain't it. Damn, I'd have to see that, man. I'd have to see that. I know my captain wouldn't say that, but love for the super chat. Shirley, this has been amazing. I've kept you here longer than I planned to. That's only because you're giving us some insightful knowledge, and it seems like you've got a lot of fans, man. Deluded Gooner put up my comment. Who is this beautiful queen blessing my screen? You don't even like black girls, Rom, so stop acting up. But let's go.
That is too funny.
He don't.
You're harsh for that. You didn't need to do him like that,
I'm jealous. I'm not getting no praise. You're not praising me. I see you smiling at these other brothers' comments. I'm not getting none of them. I'm being sour. I'm the whole host of this. It's not fair.
Put Roms on blast like that.
I have to throw him under. The bus. But I can't lie, Shirley, man. This has been amazing. I mean, it's a shame that maybe your bad luck, because since I've started getting you back on the channel, our season's got worse and worse. But It is what it is. Let people know they can find you.
Can I just say something before I let you?
You're allowed to talk.
I just want to say that bad luck thing, I'm not gonna have that, and I'll tell you why. Because anytime I've gone to the Emirates, Arsenal have scored 5 goals. Anytime
you've gone to the Emirates, Arsenal scored 5 goals.
listen.
You've been like 2 games then, and the Banduli Emirates Cup.
Hello, I've been to 3
Hello, darling.
men's games and 1 women game. Okay,
we counting
and
the
3 men's games.
You know,
of course, I'm counting the women. Hello,
I'm counting it as well. We are therefore counting it.
3 men games that I went to, we scored 5 goals. Yeah. Then I came onto your show, yeah, and I spoke on Arsenal. And what happened? We scored 7 goals in the Champions League, and I'm going to leave it at that. You talk about bad luck. I'm going to leave it there.
Okay, so if you go to the Emirates when we've got the Madrid tie at the Emirates, we're going to cook them for 5-0.
Listen, if you want Arsenal to win, you can buy the ticket and just send me there. And you don't know what.
I wish it was that simple. I really wish it was.
You don't know what can happen. I'm just saying, if I'm in the building, a lot of things can happen.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think they should let you in the Emirates because you want captains stripped of captaincies where they haven't done wrong. You're not rating Mark. You're not rating Raheem Sterling. You're saying crazy stuff.
You and Raheem Sterling need to actually just go sit down.
Whoa. I'm never sitting down nowhere with Raheem Sterling. I don't know what you're saying here.
Take his hand, take a seat with him.
I can never. There's no seats I can take with Raheem Sterling. There's no seats he can take with me. I don't know what you're getting at there. You need to talk with chess. What do you mean? Talk with chess. What are you talking about? Like, I don't support Man United.
I'm being silly like you. You know, I like to troll like how you do.
I'm not a troll. All I've done is
you've been trolling all through the stream, by the way.
I haven't trolled you. We've had you on the platform. You're blessing us with your somewhat decent opinions. It's a pleasure to have you here. She hates Jamaicans, bro. Like, you see what we're talking about.
See, look at the agenda that you're spreading about me. Now people are gonna think that I hate Jamaicans.
She does. It's a shame. Let people know they can find you.
Instagram Shirley Irie _ That's it.
Now do the outro then.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure being here. Hopefully, I can come back and
this is dead. You meant to say in a nice voice, people deluded were out. Like,
don't interrupt. Oh yeah, people.
Oh, okay, feisty. Okay,
it's been fun. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.
We'll work on it. Hopefully next week is better, man. But Shirley, banter aside, thank you. On that note, we're out. I'm back at 2 p.m. with a gal, people. Hello, wave or something.
Yeah.
We're not getting out the hood, man.